When we read the Bible, we're often tempted to skip the parts that repeat. Genealogies, covenant phrases, stories that sound familiar, lines that come up again and again. We assume it's redundancy. But in Scripture, repetition is never careless, it's revelation. The Bible isn't repeating itself to fill space, it's echoing truth until we begin to hear it, not just in our minds, but in our bones. Ancient Hebrew didn't have exclamation points. Instead, it had rhythm, pattern, parallelism. When something mattered, it wasn't said louder. It was said again, and again, and again. Because truth that's worth knowing is truth that's worth repeating. Take the Psalms. How many times does David cry, "Thou art my refuge"? How often does the phrase, "His mercy endureth forever," appear? Not because the writer ran out of new language, but because the soul learns slowly. Repetition is how Scripture trains the heart. It doesn't just inform us, it forms us. Even Jesus repeated himself. When he taught, he used the same phrases over and over. "He that hath ears to hear, let him hear." The kingdom of heaven is like, "Verily, verily, I say unto you." Why? Because repetition does more than explain. It invites us deeper. Each time we hear the same phrase, the surface meaning fades, and the mystery beneath it grows clearer. And it's not just phrases that repeat. The entire story of Scripture moves in cycles. God chooses a man. The man fails. God remains faithful. God delivers his people. They forget him. He calls them back. Exile, return, rebellion, redemption, fall, restoration. It's not a loop, it's a spiral. Moving somewhere, building towards something. Each repetition is both a return and a revelation. We see the same pattern, but in a deeper light. Think about the garden. In Genesis, humanity falls in a garden. In the Gospels, Jesus is betrayed in a garden. And in Revelation, the story ends in a new garden, one where the curse is lifted. That's not coincidence. It's divine symmetry. The Bible repeats because God is telling one story, and he wants us to recognize the echo. Or think of water. Noah is saved through water. Moses is drawn from the water. Israel passes through the sea. Jesus is baptized in the Jordan. The Spirit is described as rivers of living water. Over and over, water appears. Not randomly, but ritually. Because repetition isn't just about words, it's about meaning. Water becomes more than water. It becomes a symbol of death and life, cleansing and judgment, chaos and rebirth. Or the number 40. 40 days of rain in the flood. 40 years in the wilderness. 40 days Jesus fasted. 40 days he remained on earth after the resurrection. These repetitions aren't decorative. They are intentional patterns, narrative architecture. They teach us to pay attention, not just to what God says, but to how he says it. Even genealogies, which seem repetitive to us, were crafted with care. The structure of names in Matthew's Gospel, 3 sets of 14 generations, isn't just a history lesson. It's theology in numerical form. It's a pattern revealing God's sovereignty across time. Nothing in Scripture is wasted, even the repetitions. And then there are the covenants, again and again. "I will be your God, and ye shall be my people." The same words across centuries, to Abraham, to Moses, to David, to exiles, to disciples. Why? Because God doesn't change, but we forget. He doesn't repeat himself because he's unsure. He repeats himself because we are. The Bible is a book meant to be heard, not just read. And in the ancient world, hearing meant remembering, not by bullet points, but by rhythm. The law was read aloud. The Psalms were sung. The teachings were spoken and passed on like stories around a fire. Repetition wasn't a limitation of memory, it was the foundation of it. And even now, when we read the Gospels and find 4 versions of the same events, it's not because one wasn't enough. It's because the truth is too deep to say only once. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all show us Jesus. But each angle, each echo, adds depth. Repetition allows revelation to unfold in layers. It's the same reason why we keep returning to familiar verses. Why Psalm 23 never gets old. Why Jesus' words on the cross still echo in the silence. They mean more every time. Because repetition isn't stagnation, it's saturation. The truth soaks in slowly, but once it does, it stays. So the next time you find the Bible repeating itself, don't skip it, don't skim it. Listen for the rhythm. Ask why God is saying this again. Ask what you missed the first time, because the Bible is not trying to impress you with variety. It's trying to transform you through repetition, one echo at a time.